Hello, welcome. Today I have the Deore XT M739. It's very similar to the M737. In fact, I'm not quite sure really what the difference is. I'm going to disassemble it today and give this one a clean as it's pretty dirty. Mainly rusty though. And so let's get started. We're going to remove the jockey wheels first to get that out of the way. So we're going to remove that using a number 3 Allen key wrench. And that should all come off now. Put those to the side. I'm going to take off the anchor bolt, barrel adjuster. This one's quite stuck. Take off the limit screws. You don't have to do that, but for the purpose of this video we will. So we're going to remove the circlip that's at the back of the top knuckle. Okay, so now that you've done that, you should be able to relieve the tension of the spring that's at the back. We can take off that plate. We can now push up the pivot bolt, remove that. There's a seal, put that on the side. Spring. So now we're going to remove the spring from the bottom knuckle. Okay, so we're going to remove this bolt using the Allen key wrench number 2. This one's quite tight. And I think it's now out. Oh. So we got the pin, and this just pretty much went flying out. So we can lift that up. Take that off. There's a seal to take off there. So that's the thicker one for this side. I think we've taken everything off. There is a seal right here as well. Actually, I'll take that off as well. Pop that off. You can actually remove this spring normally. Might just pop this off because it's quite dirty. You can actually just normally reach for that tip inside there, and there you go, I've got it. There you go, so now it's loosened up and you'll be able to clean the interior. Okay, so I'm going to stick this into a bowl of soapy water. If you have other methods for cleaning, please do so. After that, we're going to move on to the greasing and then the rebuild. Everything has been cleaned. Was quite time consuming, not least because I decided to clean the jockey wheels, and in between the seals of the jockey wheels there's tons of dirt. Also in between here there was quite an accumulation of dirt, and I just wanted to have a really good clean on this. But it's all good now, so we're gonna start greasing some of the parts now and grease some of the parts, and then we're going to reassemble everything again. So the first thing I would grease is all the pivot parts, especially the seals. So I'm using a Teflon based grease. You can also use marine grease, some other lithium greases. I've been meaning to buy the Shimano grease, but it's quite expensive. Right, so the really thin seal is going to go on the top here where the hanger bolt is. So I'm going to put that down, and then the slightly thicker one goes to the bottom knuckle. So put that back in place. There's also another seal on the back here where we're going to put this pivot bolt. We might as well just put that now. So I'm going to put this pivot bolt through. Take this one off. Okay, got that off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put this spring back into the next to where the hanger bolt is. I would say the longer part is the part that you want to put in. First head down, and you put it into the hole on the other side. Make sure it's in place. Okay, now that you've got that in, we're going to take the plate and we're going to, in through that hole there, put the other tip of the spring in, so into place. And then what I like to do is I use an Allen key. I'm going to stick this into that hole, and that's the reason why we remove that screw. And then using my hands, we're going to be able to turn this over the stopper and then be able to push down. It's fairly comfortable like this, I find. You can do that with a plier or anything else, twisting it, but I just find this much simpler. It gives you a lot more room to then after insert the clip, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. Put the clip in. So we put that underneath here, and then we're going to use a plier to push that down. You can now put that screw back into place. Alright, well that'll do for now. Okay, so we're going to now put the spring back into the bottom pivot or bottom knuckle. So the spring here, there's a large diameter and a smaller diameter on the top part. We're going to put the larger diameter side inside the actual body of the derailleur. So now I'm going to put that in, and the tip of the spring is going into the hole on the other side. Now we're going to grab the other bolt and attach to the cage. There's two holes here, so you need to choose if you want a stronger or lighter tension. I'm going to put it on the lighter tension, which is going to be on the right. So the other tip of the spring goes into one of those holes, and what we're going to do now is you're going to somewhat push down, and we're going to turn to go over that stopper and then push down, let go. Now we need to put that bolt back in. Okay, so while we put this back in, make sure that you're pushing down this to avoid any spacing issues. And tighten, and that looks like it's good. I'm going to put the limit screws back in, so put that plastic part and the screws themselves. Make sure you don't thread the screws, so take your time putting them in and out. You wouldn't want to damage it. So this part's fairly self-explanatory. We're going to hook that part of the spring on the interior right here over this side. So here the best way is just closing this up and pushing this over. Okay, so let's put the jockey wheels back together again. I'm going to put a tiny amount of lubricant just to help things slide a bit better. So now I'm going to put this back in. Now remember that the G pulleys on the top, and this is at the bottom, or the ceramic one in any case. And finally the barrel adjuster. So there you go, complete. Looks much more shinier and presentable than it was before, and most likely will be performing better as well. I did take a other example of the M737, and I can't see that much of a difference between the two other than the jockey wheel cage itself. Hope this helped you put your Deore XT M739 derailleur back into service. Thank you for listening, and until next time.